Hi, Lashana. How are you?
Hi, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, great, thank you. I'm so excited to be speaking to you for this film. And I know it's called Bob Marley, One Love, but I think it quite rightfully doesn't understate Rita's importance to his life and legacy. So, what did it mean to you to be tasked with doing this incredible woman justice in this film?
It, it's meant different things. When I was, you know, prepping for the screen test, I was thinking about my family and them coming from Jamaica and, setting life in England, and me just happened to become an actor. And now I'm kind of bringing it full circle for my family. Throughout the shoot, I was just like laser focused on making sure that Mrs. Marley is upheld, and I spoke up for her a lot and wanted to protect who she is and her legacy. And now with the movie being out in the world and me seeing the final cut and just feeling the energy from everyone, it just feels like a really proud moment for for the culture, for Jamaican culture, but for cinema as well. I feel like we've taken some strides, with biopics in general. I think we had a real nice chance here to make sure that a biopic that is about a man, or also, like you said, honored the woman, feminine energy, her femininity, and also she wasn't reduced to anything. That was where the protection came in for me with just the shaping of the script. I wanted her to be upheld in all her glory. And I felt like we were really able to do that here with who she is as a woman, as a human, as a Rastafarian, as a band member, as a muse, all these things that make her who she is. It just felt good. So I've been on a real journey, and I feel like literally after I finish speaking with you, I'll be like, oh, and also this thing's come to me, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's incredible. It is an awesome performance in this film. And I know you've talked about spending time with Rita, which I can imagine was important for you as well. But do you remember whether there was a specific moment, either with her or even later on set, where that's time you spent together just helped this role just click into place for you and you knew what you wanted to do with it?
Yeah, there's one thing that comes up that I try and think of other things, but this is the main thing that got me there. It was like the gateway for me. When I went to see her the first time, I'd done all my research. I'd read the book. I'd written my own notes. I came with a notebook of like empty pages, like with questions ready to like just fill them in. And I'm quite, type A when it comes to having things laid out properly. And I remember her saying that, well, firstly, when I walked into the room, she felt my energy, which made me feel like, I don't know, like she's a superhero of some sort. Um, and actually she is in her own right. She felt my energy and could tell that I had the best intentions, which, when you're playing someone who is still on the earth, all you want is for them to be like, this is a person who is going to hold me throughout this process, and is going to take care of my narrative, which was important to me. But the main thing that the gateway, like I said, into her was how like giddy she gets when she talks about Bob, or talks about Bob to me anyway. When I mentioned his name, she just had this kind of like teenage, kind of like sweet, just young, giddy quality that really stuck with me in all of the like hard times that we are portraying in the movie, the hard days on set, the moments me and Kingsley had to like really pull things out of the bag on the fly. It was that I sat back on, that she loves the bones of this man, the bone marrow of this man. The love is so deep that no matter how fierce she is, no matter how far removed she is in another country, height of argument, that love is pure and real.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful sentiment there. And of course, you and Kingsley before this film have both done quite big Marvel roles, which obviously those movies go out to a huge audience. So did the two of you talk about that at all, and how you can bring obviously the fans that you make from those superhero projects to a movie like this one and to get more eyes on a film like this that obviously struggles for space in theaters these days with those big blockbusters?
I think one thing that we spoke about really early on, as well as the fact that we'd both touched the Marvel universe, which is mad for two leads of a film to have done that, because I don't see that all the time. One thing that we thought is we have to trust that Bob is gonna sell Bob as Bob, no matter what form this film comes in. He's Bob. Like, he radiates so much light and love and peace, and everything that he represents is so beautifully loud that we had to trust that that would do its job naturally. And of course, we get to speak to great people like you, and we get to talk about it, and we get to really connect on the acting experiences that both myself and Kingsley have had that have led us to this point. And, you know, I'd like to say, oh no, I do say a lot, actually. Nothing is by chance. It's not a chance, you know, happening that I've been in the MCU, he's been in the MCU. We were both, someone sent me a picture the other day of us both at Wimbledon together. And I'm sitting like this, and he's in the row in front of me, sitting like that. Like, we didn't know each other then. I don't think he knew he was playing Bob. Like, all of those things are, you know, they're all meant to be. But yeah, we did talk about the fact that it's like a full-on departure from the MCU. We're here playing real people, and then like casual superheroes in the back. It's quite funny.
Yeah, I love that you get to do that. And just on that note of Marvel for a moment, obviously we saw you come back in the Marvel's post-credit scene. I know you never know what's coming in the future, but you're part of the X-Men now, it seems, as binary. So how exciting is that for you to be part of the X-Men now? Did you ever see that coming? And are you excited for what comes
I
next?
mean, even that sentence is like, am I? I hadn't. I mean, that's not a sentence that's been put to me at all. We've not had a conversation about that. I dipped in for, I think, a day. I think I had one day on that film, which is wild for it to be so impactful. Yeah, I was there for a day because I think I was on the Tilda at the time. So that's wild. I don't know. I don't know. I used to find it quite, you know, a little bit of a hindrance to not know, because I always want to just like know what's coming and like plan. But I love now that I don't know. I love that I didn't know that that was happening. That's something that, you know, came across time. That was a slow plan. Well, for me anyway, they probably had it planned the whole time. But I genuinely, yeah, don't know what's next. But I think with where the franchise is going, it's naturally going to be exciting. And I'm excited to see what they do next.
Yeah, crazy how they can just throw you into a world like that. But back to this film though, because I don't want to distract from this one. There's that wonderful scene with you and Kingsley. You come out to the street and you have that argument about how much your life has changed since you were in Jamaica. And then it obviously culminates with Rita slapping him. What was it like for the two of you working on that scene together? Because one of my favorite moments in the film, because it really gets into their relationship, I thought.
Yeah. It was that was a big day, or should I say a big night, because it was a night shoot and we were in the streets of London and it was cold, and all we were doing was me, Kingsley, Ray, and Ziggy just like looking at the script and really discussing what we need and what we don't need. Do we use silences? Like, does she really go for a slap? Does she try to go for a slap and he stops her? Like, there were so many iterations of that scene that could have ended up in so many different ways, but we found this really natural calm. And I say calm physically, like we weren't running up and down the street, we weren't, you know, here, there, and everywhere. It was actually pretty still for what the argument is, which I think really depicts that kind of pick that she has. You know, she knows where to get him, and I think that was the easy part. The more challenging part was just making sure that we stayed really authentic to these two people in such a heightened space. We don't know what they were like when they argued. We don't know what any couple is like when they argue. You know, not even the couple knows what they're like when they argue, because they can't see themselves. So it was challenging in that we didn't know, but also to have Ziggy there on the day gave us license to be able to explore it in the most authentic way. And I think at the end, me and Kingsley looked at each other and were like, yeah, I think we did it. We put everything out, and then we get to go home feeling empty, which is kind of the best space you want to be in as an actor at the end of the day.
Lashana, thank you so much for your time today. I'm a huge fan of your work, from Marvel to Bond and now Bob Marley. Phenomenal in performance in this one, and lovely to speak to you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Great to meet you. Thank you.
You too.